Yes, welcome to my High End and Frequency Business podcast. My name is Lisette Lucas from the Netherlands, and I'm an international trained High End Succes Medium and a High End and Frequency Business coach. Throughout my podcast series, I help ambitious, empathetic coaches who aim for high-end success, fulfillment, and ultimate life and business mastery, absolutely living and thriving from their stardust potential. I'll give you the tips, the tools, and energy shifts you need to shift to the next level of impact, abundance, freedom, and absolute energy joy. So I hope you're ready to shift with me. Let's go. Your intuitive muscle, how activating this higher faculty accelerates your coaching business to the next level. Yes, welcome to the High End and Frequency Business Podcast number 24. Last week, I was watching an interview Bob Proctor did with Lewis House, and I put the link in the show notes, but they were talking about intuition, the higher faculties, and as well psychic skills. And to be honest, I didn't know Bob Proctor was a trained psychic himself. So I was really happy to hear, because I've been training as a medium, as a psychic for many, many years in the UK. And that's what I use in my business. I mean, that's such a powerful tool and skill to learn, because we all have it. We are all the same in our core. We are all made up of the same stardust, and we can all learn how to use it and how to develop it. But you need to train it. You can see your intuition as a muscle. So I was really pleased to hear that Bob Proctor, who passed away in February 2022, but he promoted that to learn that as well. And I can absolutely agree, because when you learn how to use those natural faculties that we all have, what a waste if you don't use it and use it in your advantage and to help other people with it, because that's what we do. But first, I will share these 6 higher faculties they were also talking about, and that's imagination, will, perception, intuition, reason, and memory. But when I listened to it, I was thinking about myself, which is a part of the higher faculties, but I was thinking, okay, as a medium, as a psychic, as a intuitive business coach, all those higher faculties combined make your intuition. So if we go back to the core, everything is energy. That is scientifically proven. Energy can't be destroyed. It can only change form. And like Bob Proctor always says, energy flows to you and through you. And how can you use it in your business? Well, the way I use it and the way I teach people to use it is as a vibrating energy field yourself. You can move with will and with power your energy field towards the person in front of you, whether it's in real life in front of you, whether it's through a Zoom meeting or through a regular telephone call, or just like with distant healing, like I do as well, send the energy with will and power and intention to the other person. And I was thinking about the way I use it as a medium. And I was trained in the UK for many, many years. And you learn how to put, I always say when I work, I put Lisette aside. So I push my own, that ego part, that thinking part, that overthinking part, I put it always a bit to the side. So it doesn't matter anymore. And then you become a channel. You become a channel of the energy that can then flow to you and through you. And then you can sense the energy. You can become really aware of it. And then with the higher faculties, you can start to interpret those feelings, because you pick up on the energetic waves, the frequencies. But the most difficult part, and that's why not many people know how to use this in the right way. They think they are using their intuition, but they are using their fear-based intuition, that feeling you get like, oh, I want to do something. Can I do it? Yes or no? Is this a wise choice to make? And then they start thinking about it. And then they get that pit in their stomach. And I think, okay, this is not for me. But I always have my intuitive rule. Intuition works faster than thinking. I have the 3-second rule. So when you need to make a decision and you want to really know from a true soul place if it's the right choice to make, the right step to take, ask yourself the question, and that has an energy to it as well. Is this the right decision for me at this moment in time? Whatever you want to ask yourself. And normally when I use this, the answer comes to me already at the moment that I ask the question, because you tap into the energy of that frequency and that resonates with each other. So it goes really fast, and it's so useful to train this, to learn these skills when you're a coach. Like, I had such an amazing, funny example. I had a call with a beautiful person, and we had a Zoom call, and she was sitting in front of me. I'd never met her before, but that person was wearing a specific sweater. And she was standing and she sat down. So I saw a part of her sweater, and I had a feeling when I say it, I had a feeling she had a unicorn on her shirt, on her sweater, a unicorn. And while we were in the session, well, I didn't talk about the unicorn. It was something that I just thought I saw. And at a certain point, I said, well, I connected back to the unicorn I felt I saw on her shirt. And then she said, I'm not wearing a shirt with a unicorn. I said, that's weird, because I really saw a unicorn on your shirt. And then she stood up again, and it was like a Nirvana shirt, nothing to do with a unicorn. But then she said, well, but I love unicorns. And she looked around the room and pointed at some things. So what happened here? This woman had the energy of a unicorn in her auric field. And my intuition blended, because when I open my notebook, it's like a click on, click off system. When I want to use it, I can use it. And when I want to be turned off, because you don't want to receive information all the time, because that's exhausting. Most people who are sensitive, highly sensitive, pick up on these vibration and energies all the time, and they don't have a clue that it's them. That's what happened to me as well, because when you connect with the energy field of another person or a situation or an event or a name or whatever you want to connect to. I remember connecting to the coronavirus at the beginning, and I started writing in English. Really amazing. I haven't put it out there, but if you're interested what the coronavirus shared, frequency of the virus, it's mind-blowing. So I want to open your mind. This has to do with perception. I want to open your mind to the possibilities of what is possible. Everything is energy. You can connect to whatever you want. Of course, there are certain rules, and we always respect the laws of the universe, because when you use it in a way that's not quite correct, then, well, I always say you get it back in tenfold. So be careful what you wish for, because, yeah, that's how it works. But what I want to bring across with this podcast, when you are a coach and you want to understand the person you're coaching in front of you, and you want to understand, because I'm training to become a Tony Robbins coach, and one of the steps is understand their world. That's the most important step. And of course, they can tell you how their world view is, how their world looks, what they feel, sense, believe, and know. But then you can tune and tap into that other part, that energetic field. And most of the time, why are they sitting in front of you? Because they have blocks, because they have patterns that they don't understand. And when you connect, I myself feel a lot in my own body. And that's how it all started. I started picking up on like ear pains, ear infections, and I thought it was my own ear. When my kids were young, when I was walking around with my own baby in my arms, I started to feel my ear, and I thought, oh gosh, my ear hurts. But then it turned out that I was in the energy field of my baby, and that the baby would develop an ear infection, but it wasn't there yet, but it was like growing energetically in the energy field of the baby. And my energy would pick that up, but I didn't have a clue. My perception on that area was like, it wasn't there. So I thought that was my energy, but it wasn't. And now with will and with power and with intention, I can send my energy in every direction I want. And what I wanted to share as well, because what does memory have to do with it? Well, we sense certain feelings, certain things, but the thing is, you receive it in your solar plexus, but then you have to bring it to the mental faculties, and there you have to process it. But you have to process it, and it sounds kind of weird when I say it, because you have to process it without thinking. But to be able to talk about it, you have to say it without thinking through your own mind, but you have to give it as it comes. And this is the most difficult part. I always say what you sense and what you feel is correct, but the way you interpret is where it goes wrong. So my students, when they are training their intuition, they are sharing the feeling, but the only way is normally through your thinking mind. But the thinking mind has to be switched off. Otherwise, it starts to give reason to it and wants to join the conversation. And then you turn the message around. It becomes a whole different story. Like I did. I didn't have a clue, like the ear infection. I made it my own. So this needs a lot of practice. And the good thing is you can start right away. You can start right away, but you need to verify it. You need to talk to somebody and ask, okay, can I blend? Because that's it. You blend with the energy field of the other person, and you need to verify it. Otherwise, your mind, your imagination creates a whole different story. And the wonderful thing about memory, because everything is energy, and like I told the last episode, I connect to the energy of the soul of the person. And of course, you can pick up on the physical stuff, but at soul level, it's like the deepest level. It's the core. It's the most beautiful part of a person. And I always say I love that part of every human being, because that's the purest part. And the things around that, well, we don't agree with that always, but when you connect to that purest part with all that potential, it's really so beautiful. But we have the spirit, and around that is the soul, and the soul database are where the memories are stored. And I was having an online training with my students, and they were training their intuitive skills, and they were also able to bring forward somebody from the spirit world. And even though I wasn't working, but I was blending with my students, because I always connect to their links, the links they are making, but I was listening. But suddenly I got the memory of my grandfather smoking cigars. And like as little girls with my sisters and nieces, we were always kind of fighting to get that band, that ring around the cigar to put on my little pinky finger. So suddenly I got the image and the feeling of putting that on my finger again. And at the end, I just had to verify that. And it happened to be one of the fathers of the students also smoked cigars. And she also had that same memory of that ring, that band from that cigar. And well, when you can blend with somebody or spirit or just sitting in front of you, and you can bring forward that type of information, that's pretty specific, I must say. Like, what is mediumship? It is bringing forward evidence that there's life after death. And those little things that they bring forward, those little memories that you shared, is really amazing evidence. I just want to open your mind to the possibilities of what happens when you learn to use your natural psychic skills, your intuition, your mediumistic skills, because we can all learn this. This is where we come from. And that's why I was so happy that I heard Bob Proctor, who was really renowned, talk about the fact that he was a trained psychic himself. He just wanted to learn that. And he did it. And he's even doing a kind of psychic reading on Lewis House. So really happy to share this, and really happy that you're listening at this moment, because when you understand the world of the person who's sitting in front of you, I mean, like, you can listen to what they say, but that's really different than feeling between the sentences, like feeling between the sentences and the vibration, because then you can pick up the blocks, then you can tune in to the limitations, the patterns. It's like you get the energetic helicopter view, and that's where the answers are. That's where you can help them. That's where you can help them clear those blocks, because a block is nothing more than just a little bit of energy. But you need to know where it is. You need to know where it's stored. You need to know when that block was created. You need to know who it has to do with. You need to know especially what emotion is beneath that block, because it always has to do with feeling, with sensing and emotions. So the information you get through the energetic field of the client is so important, because you understand their world, you understand what is holding them back, and you can sense what is holding them back. And then you can create or use the tool to clear that, to delete that from their system. And then breakthroughs and absolute miracles can happen. So I hope this kind of information helps you, because it's such a waste of energy and such a waste of this amazing higher faculty called intuition. We all have it. We all talk about it. We all want to learn it, but you need to master it. And you can learn to master it now. So just step into the frequency of your own intuition. It's the voice, I say it's the voice of your soul. And there is so much information for you there. We are all looking for the answers outside of us. But when you learn to tap into those deeper layers of you, that's when the magic happens. So I want to finish this podcast with reminding you that you are made of stardust. You are made of that magical stardust. And that sounds a bit like airy fairy, but yeah, we don't have all the answers. And my mentor, Mavis Patilla, would always say, we don't have all the answers. We only know one thing for sure: we're all gonna die. So again, it all has to do with perception. So I hope you get little nuggets of gold out of this information. And I absolutely celebrate you for listening to this podcast. And I hope you integrate it into your coaching business. Good luck. If you want to know tips, tools, or more information about this, I'm starting my first English international program. So if you want to learn more about this, you can join me. Of course, I'll put the information in the show notes at lisettelucas.com/B24. Thank you very much for listening, and hope to see you soon. Bye. Thank you for listening to my High End and Frequency Business podcast. My name is Lisette Lucas, and if you want to join my EnergyJoy world, please drop me a DM, and really looking forward to connect.